In a few moments, a mother is going to hear something no parent is ever prepared for.
Talked with the doctor a little bit. He could provide me some kind of basic health stuff that they noticed as they were treat Carson. So the one thing that he did notice is that he had a collapsed lung. There were also the possibility of some older rib fractures.
I'm honestly, no, I do not.
Okay.
I'm actually very shocked.
Her 4-month-old baby has a collapsed lung. Right now, she believes this was sudden, a terrifying medical emergency that cannot be explained. She doesn't know it yet, but the man she called an excellent father during the same interview will be in handcuffs, and she'll still be trying to understand how the person she trusted most became the person she never really knew.
Their larger concern was that there were some rib fractures, and they were older rib fractures.
Sometimes when I go to pick them up, I sometimes don't realize I'm picking them up a little hard.
Just to clarify, so when you're sending these messages that Carson was fed and changed, you didn't feed him and you didn't change him. He was rested and you left him to rest.
He was asleep during those times for it.
Asleep or possibly passed away. You thought he was asleep, I think. Possible.
Yeah.
June 2024, Fostoria, Ohio. Just before noon, police respond to a 911 call. A father says his 4-month-old son is unresponsive. The child, Carson Bonito, is pronounced dead at the hospital. And when detectives bring the parents in for questioning, they already suspect one of them is lying. They just need to figure out which one.
Let's answer those questions is going to start, okay? This is what kind of job and family services. I'll let her introduce herself.
Nice to meet you. I'll be your caseworker for the next 30, 45 days or so. Could be longer, but I'll just give you more information when we get more into it. But I did have a couple questions regarding, you have another child?
Yes.
Investigators separate the mother and father immediately. They need to hear each story before they let them talk to each other. Because if one of them is telling the truth, the other one is about to destroy it.
I did notice there were some bruises on his chest, like little spots. Do you know what those would be from?
All I know is Joey did try to do chest compressions.
Yeah, so these wouldn't have been from that. These would have been from, because they were older. So I don't know if there was some...
I'm not sure if it's maybe just when I pick him up like this.
Okay.
He liked doing that.
Well, sure. Okay.
Super big.
Nothing that you could think of as to why they'd have those little tiny bruises.
No.
Okay. Nukes, the mother, was at work when it happened. She doesn't know about the bruises on her son's chest. She's guessing, maybe from how she holds him, maybe from their toddler throwing toys. She doesn't have answers. And that's the first clue that she wasn't there when this happened.
But tell me about Joey as a dad. How's Joey do as a dad?
Excellent. He's a very good dad. He did amazing with our first son. We have had a little bit of problems with our first son being throwing his toys at Carson.
Okay.
And so we did have to take a lot of his harder toys away.
Sure.
Stuff. Breathing actually could be from that.
Excellent. A very good dad. Never loses his temper with the children. If she gets frustrated, she just hands the baby to him. She trusts him completely. And right now, while she's saying all of this, her husband is in another room preparing to tell a very different story.
Have you ever seen Joey lose his temper or anything like that with the baby or anything like that?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not with either children.
Okay. Have you ever lost your temper with a child or anything, just out of frustration?
No.
And
No, if I get frustrated from him crying, I would sit him down or just hand it to Joey's.
The detective is building a timeline of trust. What does she believe her husband is capable of? Because in a few minutes, she's going to find out what he actually did. And it won't match anything she just said.
The doctor a little bit. He could provide me some kind of basic health stuff that they noticed as they were treat Carson. So the one thing that he did notice is that he had a collapsed lung. So do you have any idea why that would have been, or how that could have happened, anything like that? And I've been asking you about this stuff because this is stuff that medically they don't think could have happened from CPR or stuff like that. So
I have no idea
okay,
how that would have happened.
okay.
A collapsed lung. The doctors say it couldn't have happened from CPR. Because that means something else caused it. Something violent enough to collapse an infant's lung. And the detective is watching her face to see if she knows what that something was, or if she's hearing it for the first time.
There were also the possibility of some older rib fractures that couldn't have been from today because they're like started to heal. So would you know how that would have been possible or anything like that?
I'm honest, no, I do not.
Okay.
I'm actually very shocked.
Older rib fractures already healing, which means they didn't happen today. They happened days, maybe weeks, before Carson died, while she was at work, while her husband was alone with the baby, and somehow she never noticed because he never told her.
The only injuries that I ever knew about were when JD would throw things at me. It's the only thing I've ever noticed happen.
Sure. I think it's, and I don't say anything's impossible, but I think it's highly unlikely that a 1-year-old could cause rib fractures.
Yeah, I agree.
So
She's still trying to make sense of it, still pointing to their older child. But the detective already knows a 1-year-old can't fracture an infant's ribs. So if it wasn't the toddler and it wasn't her, there's only one person left. And she's about to realize that.
has Joey expressed to you that he was stressed out about taking care of the kids, or that he didn't want you to go to work or anything like that?
Yeah.
Sure. Sure. And
Not because of the kids.
yeah, I
It
guess.
was easier when I was home, yeah.
Oh hell yeah, it's always easier too, for sure. For sure.
The detective gives her one more chance. Has Joseph ever said he was overwhelmed? Or it's that he didn't want her to go to work? That 2 kids alone was too much? She says sometimes, but not because of the kids. She's still defending him. Because she doesn't know yet that while she was defending him, he was already confessing.
So he goes down for a while, you get back up, bottle, burp, that all happens.
After he burps, I lay it down.
Okay. And he's laid back down.
Yeah,
Sure.
He was content.
Where at? You lay back
In the
down.
bassinet.
So the little bassinet in the living room, you lay it back down in there, and then what?
And he fell asleep for me. I didn't hear nothing, and then I took a nap again.
Okay.
And then when I woke up, that's that one message I showed you. I word things wrong sometimes. I sure apologize for that. But when I messaged my wife, that's when I wasn't like, I didn't get up to actually get quite yet.
Okay.
Which when I messaged her, let her know, hey, I'm getting up and I'm gonna get him fed.
Okay. Okay.
And that's when I saw him like that. I took him out of the crib. I put him on the couch and I tried to do chest compressions.
Okay.
Joseph is telling his version. He fed the baby, burped him, put him down for a nap, fell asleep himself, woke up. And that's when he found Carson unresponsive. It's simple, tragic, and his wife believes every word of it because that's exactly what he told her over Facebook Messenger all morning.
So describe to me what you saw when you looked in the crib.
When I looked in the crib, there was, I don't know what it was, there's brown on his face,
Okay.
and he was pale.
You wake up, you see him, you obviously concerned what's going on.
Yes, absolutely wicked out. I was shaking. I didn't know what to do.
Just feel like I failed as a father.
I'm a dad too, Joey, and these things can happen to anybody.
I tried so hard to save him. When I tried to resuscitate him, there wasn't enough.
Okay.
It's just...
Joseph is crying, saying he feels like he failed as a father, that he can't get the image of his son's face out of his head, and the detective is letting him talk. Because every word Joseph says is another lie that will unravel in the next hour.
No, I appreciate that. So the doctor did tell us a couple different things as far as Carson and his kind of some concerns that you had.
Yeah.
So some of the concerns that he had were some injuries to Carson. Could you tell me about those? Did you know anything about any?
Well, the only injuries that I would know about is our one son. He gets a little rough sometimes, and he'll take his hard toys and actually start.
His new whip?
Yes.
Okay.
We had to get rid of those.
Okay. Did you notice any bruising on Carson on his chest or anything like that?
No.
Okay. He did have some small bruising on his chest.
Okay.
Do you have any idea where that could have came from, really? Like,
That could have been from his brother grabbing him, to be fair, because he gets grabby.
okay.
And he goes, when he grabs, he goes like,
He's like pinching.
yeah, he pinches.
The detective asks Joseph if he knows anything about the injuries. Joseph says no. Just like his wife, he blames the older child. Just like his wife, he says he didn't notice any bruising. But unlike his wife, Joseph was home all morning. Which means he's not guessing. He's lying.
Hard.
Okay. Okay. So the doctors explained that obviously they had some concern with the bruising.
Yeah.
But their larger concern was that there were some rib fractures, and they were older rib fractures. So there were fractures that had occurred but it started to heal, so it's not anything recent.
Sometimes when I go to pick them up, I sometimes don't realize I'm picking them up a little hard. So that might have been from me picking them up a little too hard sometimes, and I don't need to do it.
Okay.
It's a genuine mistake.
Sure. Okay. So we also noticed a collapsed lung. Had you any concern about his neck or anything?
His lungs been really rasped.
Okay.
The past, I think it's been a few months, he's been really raspy.
When do you think the last time was that you might have grabbed him up a little?
It might have been, it might have been yesterday by accident,
Okay.
because I was a little drowsy,
Sure.
didn't realize.
Yeah.
Now Joseph changes his story. He admits the rib fractures might be from him. He says sometimes he picks the baby up a little too hard and doesn't realize it. It's a genuine mistake. And the detective nods like he believes him because he wants Joseph to keep talking.
Yesterday you might have grabbed him up a little hard.
I think it might have been. Now I feel really about it.
And
If that's
well,
the case.
well, hear me out. So they're not saying that it had any cause to Carson's death. Okay. They're not saying that. These are just things that they notice that they're asking if I can help figure out why they're there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, the fractures, yeah, that might have been from me accidentally picking them up sometimes.
Okay.
I really didn't mean to do it.
What time did that have been yesterday, you thought?
Oh, yesterday? That would have probably been around... My wife was asleep during this time. It was probably around like 12:25
Okay, so around 12:25.
is when I had to
But you picked him up.
pick them up, yeah, and then I was gonna go feed him a bottle and make his bottle up.
Did you pick him up? Did you put him back down Did you kind of like give him a little like, kind of like quit crying thing, or how? Describe that to me.
No, when I went to go put him down, I have a problem where I lose function in my hands sometimes.
Okay.
And it could have been from when I was going to put him down too. My hands gave out.
Okay. So it might have been a little unintentionally picking him up or putting him down.
Yes.
Detective asks when the last time was. Joseph says, yesterday, maybe by accident. He was drowsy. Each admission gets a little bigger. Joseph's wife still has no idea any of this is being said.
Did you put him back down? Did you kind of like give him a little like, kind of like quit crying thing, or how? Describe that to me.
No, when I went to go put him down, I have a problem where I lose function in my hands sometimes.
Okay.
And it could have been from when I was going to put him down too. My hands gave out.
Okay. So it might have been a little unintentionally picking him up or putting him down.
Yes.
Okay. Talk to me, were we a little frustrated? Were we a little tired? You said
I was drowsy. It was hard to keep my eyes open, and especially around that time, it's hard for like anything to really process the right way.
Yeah.
Now Joseph says he has a medical condition. In case his hands give out sometimes. That it could have been when he was putting Carson down. That his hands just stopped working. He's stacking excuses on top of excuses, and the detective is writing all of it down because later, none of it will matter.
Today then, was there any concerns you do today?
He was all smiles this morning when my wife got up. Got ready for work, and I got him fed around that time. He was all smiles. He was cooing, laughing at us.
So no, you didn't recognize any discomfort?
No, I didn't recognize any discomfort at the time, no.
Okay. Was there a time that you did recognize some discomfort prior to when you found out that he was in distress?
Maybe I heard a slight wheezing from him, but I went to go check on him that time, but it didn't seem like anything was.
The detective asks if Carson seemed uncomfortable this morning. Joseph says no. He was all smiles, cooing, laughing at them, no distress at all. Which means whatever killed Carson either happened very suddenly, or Joseph is lying about when he last saw his son alive. And the detective already knows which one it is. Now the detective stops being sympathetic. He tells Joseph that based on Carson's condition at the hospital, the baby could have been dead for hours before Joseph called 911.
I want to just kind of talk about the timeline again today.
Yes.
So, I'll be honest, my concern is that because of the way Carson was when he was brought into the hospital, that he could have passed well before 11:30.
And that's why I said everybody. I was just taking a nap, and that's when I woke up. They sent the message you had.
Yeah.
My wife. That's when I woke up, and I was going to get him, and that's what I realized.
Okay.
As Joseph says, he checked on the baby, that he messaged his wife to let her know. But the detective thinks Joseph was sending those messages without actually getting up to look. That he was telling his wife what she wanted to hear, while Carson was already dead in the crib.
I did actually though check
Okay.
to make sure he was okay.
Okay.
I'm not gonna just like say, oh yeah.
Well,
I'm gonna check.
yeah, and I'm not saying, I want to know if you didn't check on him as frequently as you say. That's okay, because he was, you thought he was sleeping.
Yeah. Which I did. I thought he was sleeping, and
Sure.
I did go to check on him. He seemed fine.
Okay.
Checked on.
And when you're checking on him, you're peeking
last-
passing out.
The last time I went and checked on him it was the time that really freaked me out.
Of course.
The detective is giving him a way out, saying it's okay if Joseph didn't check as often as he claimed, that babies need sleep, that it doesn't make him a bad dad. But Joseph keeps insisting he checked, and that insistence is what's about to trap him.
20 when she left, when you physically picked him up and knew that he was alive.
I picked him up. It was at around...
You're okay. And Joseph, if you didn't pick him up, it's okay to tell me that too. If he was in that crib the whole time, from when she left to when we got there, that's okay too. It doesn't mean that you're a bad dad, doesn't mean you're a bad person. But these are the things I gotta know, because the way his body was, I think he had been there a while. I think he had been there longer than what you're telling.
I might have.
Just, it's okay.
Joseph can't say when the last time was that he physically picked Carson up and knew he was alive. Because if he says he picked Carson up that morning and the baby was alive, he's lying. And if he admits he never actually checked, that Carson might have been dead for hours, then every message he sent his wife was a lie. Either way, the story falls apart.
But you gotta tell me, man, I gotta know these news.
Yeah, he might have been laying in there for a minute while I was asleep, but like I said, I didn't even know.
How would you know? I'm not saying you shouldn't have known. Hey, Joe.
Joseph finally admits it. Carson might have been in the crib for a while. Maybe longer than he told his wife. Maybe while Joseph was asleep. He doesn't actually know. And that's the first crack in the story he's been telling for 3 hours.
You left at 6:20. Did you ever?
No, 6:20, yes, I did.
Okay.
I did.
So between 6:20 and when we got there at 11, or when you found him at 11:44, you can't tell me for sure that he was alive.
I'm not too for sure, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
I'm not asking you to. It's okay.
The detective makes it simple. Joseph's wife left at 6:20 in the morning. Joseph called 911 at 11:44. That's over 5 hours. And Joseph can't say for sure that Carson was alive during any of that time. He's been guessing, hoping, but he doesn't actually know.
If you haven't gotten any sleep and the baby's quiet and resting, I'm not doing anything different as a dad.
I know, but I just feel like a male.
There were some. So, and if just to clarify, so when you're sending these messages that Carson was fed and changed, you didn't feed him and you didn't change him. He was resting and you left him to rest.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was resting.
Yeah.
And it was just
Yeah.
more to try to relieve my life.
Sure.
This is the moment the lie becomes undeniable. Joseph never fed Carson that morning, never changed him. He was just messaging his wife saying he did, to make her feel better, to keep her from worrying at work. Carson was in the crib the entire time, and Joseph never actually checked if he was alive. And the detective asks one last time, was Carson asleep or already dead?
Possibly had passed away. You thought he was sleeping. Possible.
Yeah.
Joseph says it's possible. And with that answer, the story he told his wife, the story she believed all morning, is finished. Joseph is taken to a waiting area. He thinks he explained everything. That the detective understands it was an accident. That maybe he'll get to go home and talk to his wife. But that's not what happens next.
I talked with our prosecutor's office, and with everything that's going on, we are going to charge you tonight. You're going to have to spend a little time in jail. Okay? So I'm working on what they're going to charge you with, but they're looking at a child endangerment for right now. So we're going to cover tough. Okay?
When the detective comes back, he tells Joseph he's being charged tonight. Child endangerment. That's what Joseph expected. A mistake, a lapse in judgment, something that says he should have been more careful. But that's not the only charge.
Child endangerment, and
because it resulted in Carson's death. The other one's a murder charge. Okay. So those are the two charges. So one's an F2 and the other one's an unclassified felony. So that's where we're at. These are your copies. Okay. So I'll give them to you and you can look at them.
Murder. Not manslaughter, not negligence. Murder. Because Carson didn't die from being picked up too hard once. He died from injuries that happened over time. Rib fractures that were already healing.
Tonight, okay, and then you'll have an arraignment tomorrow. So
Is there any way I can talk to my wife or anything?
you'll be able to make calls at the jail. Officer Miller's gonna take you to the jail and
Okay.
make calls from the jail.
Did you ever get my nicotine back?
No, they didn't have it. Sorry, man.
Joseph is led away. He asks if he can talk to his wife, if he can have a cigarette, if there's anything that will make this feel less real. But there isn't. Joseph Bonito later accepted a plea deal. He pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter and 2 counts of felonious assault. He was sentenced to 25 to 31 years in prison.